Like coffee if you can't taste. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Finance Committee meeting. I will turn things over to Deputy City Manager Greg Patrick.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. We have a number of general business items today. First, we have two grants that our police chief will walk you through, one on replacing some of our drone aircrafts, and the next, I think, are going to the electric bikes. Madam Chairman, you had requested a conversation on business license tax. So we are here to answer any questions you might have there. Then we'll review quarterly reports and the other reports that we do as part of that process before roll call.
Okay, great, thank you. Chief?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and Finance Committee members. The Lynchburg Police Department was awarded $20,844 through a competitive grant process from the Virginia Department of Criminal Justice Services calendar year 2026 Unmanned Aircraft Trade and Replace Grant Program. This funding opportunity was established to assist localities in replacing foreign manufactured unmanned aircraft systems, drones, with U.S. manufactured models, aligning with current state and federal guidance related to equipment, security, and responsible technology use. No local match is required with this. The Any future maintenance or replacement costs beyond the initial would be the responsibility of the police department.
Great.
And I'll answer any questions you may have.
Any questions? Good.
Great, thank you for that. Appreciate it. Does that totally replace our items or just a portion of them?
This would be just one drone.
Just for one? Oh my
Yes.
goodness. Just
We have
for one-
we have
I'm
a
sorry, I missed
total
that
of
part.
we have a total of 15 drones. 4 are U.S. manufactured because we've been buying those. Initially, when we started the drone program, we purchased the drones through our partner with Axon, and this was before the national security concerns with the foreign-made drones. So we're still able to use those drones, but we're replacing them.
As we come
And,
along.
and with this grant, actually, we have to show proof of destruction of the drone once we
Wow.
receive the U.S. manufactured drone.
Wow.
So we're thinking up ways to destroy the foreign-made drone.
Can my kids participate? No, right. That's that's amazing. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Any questions, Mayor? No? All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We would appreciate committee action to support this for appropriation later at council.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
A second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No? Okay. Well, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll see you tonight.
We have one more police
Oh,
grant.
Yes. Lynchburg Police Department has been awarded $8,999.98. Would have been easier just at 9,000, but through a fiscal year 2026 Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation Grant Program. This competitive award provides funding for the purchase of 2 public safety grade electric bicycles, e-bikes. So the reintroduction of our bike patrol will increase visibility and create more opportunities for positive day-to-day interaction with the community. This will be especially important as the city prepares for increased activity around the new amphitheater and other community events.
any questions?
So what's the total cost of those bikes? 25,000? No.
That's the total price on those 2 bikes.
The 9,000 or whatever
Yes,
for 2 of them.
9,000. Yes, sir.
Wonderful. Excellent. Thank you. Appreciate it. Sure. Who does that again? Was it
Firehouse Subs.
Firehouse Subs?
Yes, sir.
That is wonderful. So do y'all just get like a list of possible grants and y'all apply for them? Is that how that normally works?
Yes, sir. Yeah,
Wonderful.
we saw this one and thought it was a good opportunity to.
Excellent.
We had a bike patrol unit years ago, and then
Yes.
and then through staffing challenges and what have you, we did away with it. But we're trying to bring that back, especially the more that downtown is
Yes.
built out, and then also our bike trail systems. We can Blackwater Creek Trail system. We can use them there too.
Okay. Just so I can understand, do you have like staff that's dedicated to looking for grants in your area? Is that finance area?
We do not as far as dedicated. We have a number of people who are interested in them, but our finance manager, obviously, she watches for grant opportunities, but then we have some other employees throughout the organization that will look as well for grant opportunities.
So you have a finance manager that works, I guess, in addition to just for the police department. Wonderful.
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Any questions?
$4,500 a piece.
Yes.
Good.
Yes. We're gonna also add some traditional bicycles, which won't be as expensive as that, but we thought we would try the e-bikes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So y'all got service for those. Y'all plug them right in with your.
Correct. Yeah. This is for the bike specifically. It doesn't account for uniforms or other related equipment, but we'll be able to work that out.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
And no matches required on this.
I'm sorry, no local matches required. Yes.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No? Okay. It passes. We'll see you
Thank you.
later on. Thank you so much.
All right, Madam Chairman, we had sent information around regarding your question regarding the business license tax exemption last night, and we are prepared to answer any questions you have as part of your discussion.
Right. So it was brought up as a roll call item. And I think Ms. Wood, if you want to go ahead and explain what you had sent via email as far as, explaining what you sent to council. Do you mind?
Sure, and I have copies of that if
Yeah,
somebody
sure.
needs a copy.
If you do that, just because I don't have the email pulled up and I want to be able to see what is here versus.
I'm sorry. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And I believe, just to refresh my memory, yeah, it just says that Mr. Missions had asked about the business license tax going to 150,000, but it's already there right now, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
he asked that we do an analysis, and actually this comes from the Commissioner of Revenue, but this is from Mitch Knuckles' office. He's the one that takes care of business license.
Mhm.
I just bill and collect. He actually does all the behind the scenes work. And so Mr. Mischens had asked for starting at 100,000 by $25,000 increments up to 200,000. What that information would look like to further waive these business license taxes. But business license tax is also a trigger for business personal property tax. So that's why you also, if you increase how much you're waiving for a business license tax, you also lose the related business personal property tax. So the council voted on it's effective January 1st, 2023. They adopted it in October of 2022 that the business licenses, one was not required up to 150,000. So that's already been done. So the other two ranges that Mr. Mischens asked about was 175,000, which would eliminate 36 business license, and the tax would be $17,199. The business personal property of $1,765 for a total of $18,964. And then if it was taken up to 200,000, that would include 95 licenses. And between business license and business personal property, $87,142 would be not collected in those taxes.
So my proposal is that we discuss this when it comes time to start talking about our budget. This is really a budget item as far as if it's something we want to adopt into the budget, consider it when we're, discussing the budget as a whole. So that would be, I think, something that we maybe
Could consider
could
that.
consider then. If you want to if you agree, then I think we make a motion for that.
Yes, I know, because we're currently, yes, when we have time, we're working on the budget after all the other things and all the balls we're balancing so many balls up there in the air. So after all that settles, we can get back to our budget. And we can discuss that. So I'll make a motion that we table this and bring this up during our budget discussion, because it's going to take a picture of all our finances that are coming into our city, all the revenues coming in, expenses going out. So I suggest we wait until the budget season to talk about that.
I second that we wait and just table this until we start budget discussion so we can get a big picture of what everything looks like, and then decide, on as a priority, kind of where this fits in with everything. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay, so that's what we'll do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And quarterly reports. We'll start with GLTC.
Chairwoman, members of council. So before you have our second quarter report for GLTC. We have continued to experience fairly good fare growth, particularly in the paratransit section. That is also balanced by increased costs for paratransit, as those are usually directly correlated. Generally, overall, the other items you're seeing a negative for Central Virginia Community College. That simply is just a billing timing based on the holidays. They had some staff out of the office. We did. So the billing is going to show that in the January, so third quarter. Other than that, advertising has been doing very well this year. That's a very bright spot for us. And then we're pretty much on target with our federal operating, and then state operating is a little bit low. And that is simply because that is reimbursement based. So as we have lower expenses for things like fuel and stuff, we're experiencing less for reimbursements on a couple of our state operating grants. Expenses are generally below budget, with the exception of fringe benefits. That is being driven by healthcare across the organization. So you're going to consistently see that above budget for the rest of this year. Other than that, we have a few items such as information technology and our demand response. That is running a little bit above budget with some work that we've had to do here this year with ensuring the system is operating. We're actually going out for a grant to replace some of those pieces here in this upcoming year. So we're hoping that that's going to help to solve some of those issues. And then just kind of looking through, the only other items that we have that are kind of running close are IT in a couple of areas. And then if you're looking at the administration category, other materials and supplies, miscellaneous, those are way down. Those tend to be very sort of cyclical expenses. And previously, council had asked if we could go into a little bit of background for some of those because miscellaneous expenses is such a kind of a weird category and catch-all. So I just want to note that the reason that some of the stuff is in here is because we follow the Federal Transit Administration's accounting guidelines, which were last updated in January of 1993. So they actually have a section that breaks out typewriters, and then all computer stuff is lumped into a generic category. But particularly like for miscellaneous, that includes training, safety. So the LPD officers that we pay for, that is included in that line item. And that's usually the largest expense in that is that reoccurring fee, which is also paid for out of a grant. Public relations, marketing, registration fees. Our intern is covered with that, which is once again offset by a grant. And then depreciation and GASP 96 amortized IT expenses. So those are expenses for things such as reoccurring software as a service features that the federal government a couple years ago came out with a GASP ruling, general accounting standards practices, where we have to treat those like a hard purchased asset. And so we treat those and amortize those. So that shows up in there as well. And then looking at the other services category there, that's management, auditing, professional services, our radio board contract with a radio board, maintenance, banking, computer, telephone, pension, and then a small section of truly other odd and end stuff. So that's just a very large or very high level view of kind of what's in those, and that had been a request previously. So other than that, right now we are ending this quarter with a slight surplus. It's something that we're watching for the rest of the year, especially with we're expecting some higher bills coming in for utility usage over the last couple of months with the extremely cold weather, which I think everybody is. And so we'll be watching that.
Great. Well, thank you. Any questions?
One question. Not really related to this. As far as the Sunday service, did y'all ever have a meeting about that?
So we've had a number of public meetings, public outreach. So the board will be making a final determination on what they would like to do at our March 4th board meeting.
Great. Thank you. Appreciate it. No other questions.
Any questions, Mayor? Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you much.
Next, we have Cedric Simon with the Lynchburg Airport.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, Madam Chairwoman, members of council, members of the committee. Again, Airport Director Cedric here to report on the second quarter fiscal year 26 for the airport. Throughout the second quarter of the fiscal year, the Airport Enterprise Fund continues to remain healthy and balanced while we maintain our facilities and continue to seek new business ventures. Overall for the quarter, revenues have continued kind of as expected. The second quarter direct operating revenues are in line with the same numbers last year. They're pretty close to what they were last year. The airfield revenue center is projected to have a $10,000 increase in revenues, and that's primarily driven by landing fees. So whenever you see charters or a lot of aircraft, that's what drives the landing fees. The terminal revenue centers is projected to have a $285,000 increased revenue. And at our last finance committee, Mr. Feraldi requested that we break out the kind of what's in there. So we broke out the rental car and the parking lot at his request, and that's on the report. But that makes up the $285,000. It was $65,000 in parking and $195 on the rental cars. And then the final kind of revenue center that I'm looking at is general aviation. It's looking at $80,000 increase over the budgeted number, and that's related a lot to the fuel flowage that we get when people are pumping fuel at the airport. On the expenses side, the airport is seeing increased expenses in a lot of areas. In the terminal, we're tracking a $30,000 increase over budget, and a lot of that is attributed to the utilities, as was mentioned a second ago. Utilities are up across the board, so we're seeing that also. The administration expense center is a little bit higher than usual, and we had, in a good way, we had some unexpected air service, so we are spending a little bit more for the air service and marketing that. You may have seen our new billboards out in the community, and maybe if you're listening to the radio, you hear some radio ads to get people to fly on those flights. So again, that comes with that as a little increased expenses. And then our final area that we're seeing expenses, and we've seen this over the last few fiscal years, is in the public safety area. Our police and our fire, the costs are up. And we're covering more hours as well. So like with the flight schedule, my police officers and our fire department is there more. So that's going to cost more in general. State airport aid, we get money from the Department of Aviation with the state. Our revenues from those grants are expected to be $60,000 less than budgeted, but that corresponds to less projects. So we just have less projects, so that's all right. Bottom line, the airport is currently projecting an operating surplus for fiscal year 26 of $20,000. That concludes my report for the second quarter, and I'd be happy to make any clarifications if needed.
Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you for the appreciate it. As far as I see where United is starting in March, what's that date in March?
March 24th.
Oh, you got it down. March
Yeah.
24th. Now, do we expect additional expenses because of the new airline or is it?
The short answer is yes. There are some additional expenses. I mentioned the marketing that we've already been doing the marketing to get people to buy tickets, but we are also right now in the third quarter. My team's swinging the proverbial hammers, like they're getting ready with some electrical. We're doing some work in support of what the airline is doing. So the airline's doing some work and we're doing some work right by them. So there will be some additional costs in the terminal, but so far nothing has been that great that we've seen.
Okay. When do you get a report on the service usage? How does that happen?
I would say so. All the airlines report to the Department of Transportation, and all those numbers trail probably 45 to 60 days. It depends a little bit on what's going on with the federal government and the time of year. So we will probably start knowing, March, they'll only be operating for 6-7 days in March, and then April will be a full month and moving forward full months. So we'll probably start getting good data on the people flying probably in June, July. So it shouldn't be something that we see a lot in the third quarter, but it's coming.
Okay.
So
I'm just curious to see once it is done, does it have a balance on the other airline? And just how does it affect it? But we'll just see the numbers when they come out.
yeah, definitely. So far, the schedules are a little bit far out, but American still is maintaining their normal summer schedule for us. So it's looking like we're going to have more seats, considerably more seats moving into the summer.
And are those flights daily or like
Yes, they are daily. So once a day to Chicago and once a day to Washington. So
what time is that to Chicago?
Oh, now you're putting me on the spot.
Okay,
So
that's okay.
to Chicago, I believe it's 10:20 in the morning. Like it's somewhere, it's in the morning
Okay.
time, and you get there right before lunchtime, Central Time Zone. And then the afternoon flight, it's in the afternoon, evening time, going back to Washington, Dulles.
Okay, great. I'm just checking. Thank you, appreciate
No
it.
problem. Yeah. Anything else?
Any questions?
Yeah. Sales up for this Have you seen any different in sales seats already?
So far, all year, our load factors, how many seats have been sold, have been sitting around the 80%. We don't have solid numbers yet from United because it's still, it was the last time we checked, it was still a little bit far out. But we are watching it. We are, it's something that we want to see be successful. Historical numbers, usually it's a little slower going in through the winter, but as spring break comes in the summer, numbers will definitely, we're expecting them to pick up.
So attitude in Lynchburg, you got a lot of people interested in flying to Chicago? Or?
Well, not only just flying to Chicago as a destination, but it's a connecting hub. So again, you get two more gateways with United. You get two more gateways to almost anywhere in the world.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next, we have Preston Sellers, who's going to walk us through the Juvenile Detention Center, followed by the Children's Services Act Fund. Preston?
Thank you. Good afternoon, Madam Chair, council members, Mr. Mayor. I'm here to present the second quarter financial report for the Lynchburg Regional Juvenile Detention Center for the period ending December the 31st, 2025. Overall, the detention center remains financially stable, and we're operating at approved budget perimeters, and we're maintaining a consistent service demand. Through the second quarter FY26, our total revenue was approximately $1.77 million, representing about 45% of our annual budget. Our total expenditures were approximately $1.6 million, which is about 41% of our annual budget. And the results of this is right now is our year-to-date surplus operation of right around $169,000. So our revenue performance overall, the primary revenue source continues to be charges to the localities for housing the youth, which accounts for about $1.1 million year to date. Our Department of Juvenile Justice block grant is tracking as expected, at expected levels, which represent about 50% of our annual allocations. And as I mentioned in the past two financial committee meetings, the USDA reimbursements right now, they're out below expectations because that's not what we're going to continue to get. So year to date, we received about 27% of our USDA budget allocations. And again, that's still just a conversation because we're still in this fiscal year and moving next fiscal year. That should be off of my financial report. Our state ward per diem revenue continues to be within the parameters, right around $608,000. So our expenditure performance right now, our personnel costs remain our largest expense category. Most spending categories are below, most of our other spending categories are below the midpoint or within the benchmark of our categories of our spending. Supplies and materials reflect a higher usage than normal, but it's manageable. And part of that, if you recall, we're replacing locks, and this is the detention center, secure locks in the detention center. So each lock runs about $1,400. And so we've replaced about 10 locks so far, and we continue to replace those locks. And there's a very old lock, so we have to, it's not a matter of just going in and fixing it. You actually have to replace these locks for those secure doors, not just getting in and out of the detention center, but also the pods that the youth are on in the detention center. So we're managing that, we're watching that, so we're pretty comfortable with that. There was no significant cost pressures to our operations or anything like that. We're operating within the parameters. We're always watching personnel, because personnel's, whether it's a relief worker or full-time staff, we're still kind of balancing that to make sure we have the right operational staff to manage the youth that we have in the facility. Speaking of operational performance, right now our population remains about 19 juvenile, which is consistent to the previous year's population. Lynchburg youth represent about 53% of that population. And as of today, I believe I have 13 youth in the facility, and of those 13 youth in the facility, 9 are the Lynchburg youth in the facility. Our overall financial outlook, the detention center is expected to remain within the FY26 budget parameters, where our operations right now, our financial is stable. There is no corrective fiscal actions that we need to take at this time. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
I don't think just another side note. I'm sorry, side
Yes,
notes. Do we ever hire a director for the detention center? I can't remember.
Yeah, so we have a superintendent for Mr. Michael Bird is our new superintendent for the detention center.
And when did he start? I can't remember.
I don't know the exact. He's
Okay.
been there about 4 or 5 months.
Okay, so it is new.
Yeah,
I
he's
can't
fairly
remember
new.
where that was. Okay.
Okay.
Is he local?
I'm sorry.
Is he local? What do you think?
No,
House?
he's local. He came from, he had some previous law enforcement
Okay.
experience, and so he's pretty much in his locality. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. I was just checking that. Thank you, appreciate it.
Yep, no problem.
When can you and I do a visit?
Anytime you want, Mr. Mayor, just let me know and I can arrange that and we can go through.
Okay.
And I would love to have you come through with me.
Yes. Okay.
And I can maybe get with Alicia and work something out.
Do that.
Okay.
Yeah, we get together.
I've been there several times.
Yeah.
Not as a client. Though. To make sure we get that out there.
Just clarifying.
Not as a client.
All right, thank you.
Children's Services Act.
All right. So again, Madam Chair, Council members, Mayor, here to present the Children's Services Act, the CSA second quarter fund through December 31st, 2025. CSA financial services at-risk youth and families, including foster care, special education placement, and community-based interventions. These funds operate on somewhat different from the city funds because state rules require that our prior year obligations be paid through December, opposed to the standard July, June fiscal year. So there's a little differences in the CSA funding as we receive the fundings. But our revenue through the second quarter FY26, we received approximately $3.5 million or 37% of our adopted budget. The largest source remains our CSA reimbursements, which totals right around $2.78 million. We've received the city general fund as well as the schools have met their required local match contributions, and our miscellaneous revenues such as the parental co-payments and the recoupments all remain above the budget parameters. Overall expenditures, we've spent about $5.21 million or roughly 55% of our annual budget. The higher than proportionate spending is driven mostly entirely by mandated services. Special education placements account for about $2.5 million and foster care services account for approximately $2.3 million. And these categories are influenced by student enrollment, court involvement, or severity of the services that we provide. And also just to keep a note, these services can fluctuate. So one month could be one thing, or one quarter could be one, another quarter could be different depending on the services that the youth need within the community. And what we are seeing is a high shift towards children with high levels of needs who fall into what we refer to as the some sufficient category, the mandated category. And these are mandated services that the city is obligated to pay the cost to provide services to these youth. We intentionally minimize spending in a non-mandated categories by leveraging alternative funding sources. But non-mandated, we can get services through the court services, involve youth or other expenditures to keep that non-mandated services low. And so we're seeing more people in the mandated, but lower non-mandated, but we also having some other services like court service youth that's being serviced through that funding through the non-mandated services. Overall outlook, we expect the state, I should say, to reimbursement to continue through the second half of this year, which we'll anticipate an improved revenue position. However, again, special education placement, the foster care utilization will remain our primary financial risk as we continue to monitor these. As of last week, CSA had serviced over 376 youth so far in Lynchburg. So just to put it all in perspective. With that, I have nothing else further, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you so much. Any questions?
No questions.
No questions, Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Preston. Next, we have Tim Mitchell, who will walk us through the water, sewer, and stormwater funds.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Council Member, and Mayor. Thank you for the opportunity to give you an update on the second quarter financial reports we'll start off with the water fund. So looking at our water fund revenues, we're expecting them to be slightly above budget, about $70,000 more than budget. Our charges for services which encompasses a lot of different revenue sources. We're anticipating those to be slightly down, about $64,000 down or lower than budget, related to lower than expected water consumption. Our water contracts, we're expecting those to be about $129,000 above budget, and that's mostly related to CertainTeed's water purchases. And then interest, we're expecting to be right at budget with our interest earnings. Looking at our expenses, we're expecting their expenses to be about $155,000 less than budget. Most of that is in the departmental O&M. We're expecting that to be about $155,000 above budget for those items, but that's primarily driven by some contractual services that we need for to help us with the contract negotiations with Campbell County, as well as updating our backflow program. And then we, like others have mentioned, we have higher electrical cost as well. That second quarter, that's primarily related to electrical costs associated with dry weather and having to use James River water. We'll see how it progresses with the cold weather through the year. Our chemical costs were actually down because of a price decrease in chemicals. So that was helpful. Our non-departmental O&M budget is expected to be at budget. Capital outlay, about $40,000 over budget, but that's related to a timing of a vehicle purchase that was supposed to arrive last year, but it's not arriving until this year. Debt service, we're expecting to be about $350,000 less than budget, and that's related to project start delays, related to easements and permitting issues. And then, let's see, overall for the fund, we're expecting to meet or be within council's fiscal policies for the fund. So with the water fund, I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have.
Questions?
No questions.
Sure. No? Okay.
All right, moving on to the sewer fund. So revenues in the sewer fund are pretty significantly higher than we had budgeted for. A few factors there. Charges for services, which includes revenues for account charges, industrial surcharges, connection and availability fees. They're expected to be about $556,000 above budget. Most of that is related to septic hauler charges, and this includes leachate that we receive from landfills pretty much around the state. We really don't have any way of knowing how much we're going to receive. That's a line item that varies significantly from year to year. Cost plus services, this is where we go out with our crews and install sewer services, and that are larger sewer services that we charge a cost plus fee for that. And then non-contract sewer sales are expected to increase by about $143,000 above budget. Sewer contracts, we're expecting that revenue to be about $374,000 above budget, and that is mostly attributable to Frito-Lay. One thing to note, the Frito-Lay has submitted plans for an upgrade to their treatment facilities, their wastewater treatment facilities. So the effluent, the sewage that's coming from Frito-Lay will be cleaner once those facilities are constructed, and that will significantly lower their surcharges because of high-strength sewer waste. So we don't know exactly what that's going to do for budgets in the future, but there'll be cleaner water coming to us, and potentially reduce revenues from Frito-Lay, but it may have a beneficial effect because we've struggled with sewer odors downstream of Frito-Lay along the sewer line. And with cleaner water coming from Frito-Lay, that may help address some of the sewer odor complaints that we've had. So we'll see how that goes. Interest and other revenue. Revenue in this category is expected to be about $246,000 above budget, mostly associated with higher amounts of money invested and higher interest earnings than we expected. Our expenses overall for the sewer fund we're expecting to be about $1.4 million less than budget. A couple big things there. We had a project where we were cleaning their major sewer line, the James River Interceptor, and the bids for that came in about $200,000 less than budget. So that was a big savings. And then we've had other savings in chemical costs because about $300,000 there because of price decreases when we renewed the chemical bids. Supplies and materials also savings there as well. Non-departmental O&M expenses are expected to be at budget. Capital outlay, we're expecting about a $400,000 savings there. This was related to 2 sludge trailers that were ordered and will not arrive until 2027. And then our debt service is expected to be about $334,000 under budget for some of the same reasons that we had with the water fund, with easement issues and just slower starts than expected for projects. And we're in good shape with our financial ratios. So with that, I'll be glad to answer any questions on the sewer fund. One thing I did want to note is Councilman Feraldi did ask some questions last time about our sewer rates in the consent order, and I think that information came out to City Council in a memo, but I'll be glad to address any further questions related to that as well.
Thank you. Any questions?
No questions.
Mayor?
So what are you gonna do with all the savings?
So each year when we put our budget together, it's a complex process because we look at our needs throughout the department or throughout the sewer fund, and we kind of do a reset. So if we have savings, basically those savings fall to fund balance, and then we can utilize those funds for capital projects to avoid borrowing money. So there's some savings there. We are looking this year at the potential of avoiding a sewer rate increase and still being compliant with the consent order. We're still working through that to be sure. So that would be a good thing.
Yeah.
But we fully utilize the funds that we have. We start, we do a zero-based budget where we're looking at where we're starting from. So if we have a large fund balance, most of that we can't carry as part of our consent order. We can't carry but a certain amount in our fund balance. And then anything beyond that has to be transferred for pay-as-you-go capital. So anything that we can use what we have saved for pay-as-you-go capital, it results in further savings down the road too.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right.
I have one thought. So it's
Yes.
interesting. It's unfortunate that the sewage from Frito-Lay that's making us money is smelly because it's good for us financially. It's just too bad it's stinky. So good that they're cleaning it up, but a loss for us financially.
Well, and there with that, for years we've been treating the waste from Frito-Lay with chemical addition to help address the sewer odors. But they've been reimbursing us for those costs as well. But there's also a new sewer line from Bedford County that's getting ready to go online that will add flow into the sewer line that Frito-Lay discharges to. That additional flow may also help with sewer odors as well because the sewage would flow faster through the sewer lines. Yeah. So we're hoping the combination of the changes that Frito-Lay will be making and the addition of the flow from Bedford will help address the sewer odor issues that we have.
Yeah, that'd be good.
And this is another side note. Sometimes on Florida Avenue, we keep getting the smell down there. Where is that coming from? I mean, is it any variety of sources?
So we have a number of sewer areas in the city where we have sewer odors.
Mm,
We have odors there. We have odors around Liberty in some areas, which is associated with flows from Campbell County. The odors on Florida Avenue may also be somewhat associated with Campbell County flows, but it's really hard to address sewer odors
Yeah.
because you either have to address them at the source, and we when we're looking for the source of sewer odors, you end up spending a lot of time, money, and effort to find what the source is, and then you also spend a lot of time, money, and effort trying to find what chemical can be added to address the odor. So it's a challenge, and sometimes we can put, depending on where the sewer is, we can put vents in the sewer system with charcoal filters that help with the odors as well. So if you have a specific area that you want us to look at, we can.
but just don't be coming down that where the train track is.
Near where the
Just-
train track is?
Yeah, just sometimes there, just a weird smell. And also sometimes too, on Church Street at the top there, something comes from that area once in a while. It's just kind of permeates a little bit. So once in a while.
I think you brought that to my attention before too.
But
And that's part of the issue is another thing that can happen in like the downtown area is a lot of the downtown area is still combined. So you have their storm inlets connected to the sewer system. And most of the storm inlets have a trap in them, like a sink would have a trap. But if those traps dry out and that it can allow the odor from the sewer system to escape through the storm inlets as well.
Yeah.
So, if we have areas downtown where that's occurring, we potentially can go out and put some water in the storm inlets and help with the odor issues there as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
On stormwater.
Stormwater.
All right. So stormwater, we're expecting the charges for services, the revenues in that category to be up about $70,000. This is mostly because of all the new development within the city and new impervious area. Interest, we're expected to be about $39,000 above budget with our interest earnings. Transfers from other funds are expected to be in line with budget. Their expenses are expecting to be about $196,000 less than budget. Most of that is debt service related, and a lot of that debt service, moving on to the debt service category, is related to the startup of the College Park Stormwater Rehabilitation Project, which is finally under construction. It started a few weeks ago, so that project had been delayed for an extended period of time, but it is under construction at this point now. So we're back on track there. And then as far as council's financial policies, we're meeting or exceeding council's financial policies in the stormwater fund as well. Be glad to answer any questions.
All right, short and sweet. Thank you, sir. Any questions?
No questions.
No? Mayor? No? All right,
Thank
well,
you.
thank you so much, Tim. We appreciate you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And on to the general fund and Ms. Donna Webb.
All right, thank you so much. So in looking at our financials through the end of December, we have gotten our first real estate installment, and we are in line with projections. We've received $36.8 million. A lot of people do pay their 100% upfront in their first installment. So we are tracking as we historically do. Also, with our personal property taxes, we've received our December 5th payments, and we're ahead by about $637,000 for second quarter. So that's good. They're coming in strong, but still in line with our projections. All the other revenues are tracking as we expect, so nothing new really there. And our expenditures, we're at 54.8%, which is a little ahead of 50%. But just as a reminder, we do have a lot of contracts and payments that have to be paid out July 1st. So we are typically running ahead of our 50% point in December as well. So, but we're looking good, but we're going to talk about our other revenues through December here in a minute, but happy to answer any questions on the general fund.
I do have a question that I meant. Oh, I'm sorry. You want to go? You go ahead.
No, I don't really have anything. Go ahead.
I meant to ask this a long time ago, but I didn't. So when we were looking at last year's end numbers and we saw that the real estate taxes for the year were short, so it was like 770 something.
Some thousand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That deficit, was that because people didn't pay?
Uh-huh.
So people just don't pay them.
Well, we do delinquent collections. We collect more than $1 million every year in delinquent collections. Statute of limitations on your real estate is 20 years.
Okay.
So we don't write that off for 20 years. So we typically get about 99% by the time we get to the end of, well, it's almost 100% by the time we get to the end of the statute.
Okay.
But yeah, some people are late or, things happen.
Right. Okay.
Try
Thank
to
you.
work with people.
I know that had nothing to do with this, but I will keep forgetting to ask you. I just wanted to make sure I did.
Sure.
So,
Do you have a question?
did you have a question?
No, I did not.
No?
Oh, okay.
Mayor?
Did the ice storm hurt your collection any?
No, it didn't really impact our collections. But we were closed, for a couple of days, but it really did not impact our collections.
Good.
So our reserve for contingencies, nothing new to report there. We've got $1,175,000, and that includes the $50,000 for the manager's discretionary fund. And then our revenue projections, we have December numbers, which were a little disappointing. So for our sales tax, we're really flat with 2025. So I was a little surprised because normally we're up about 2 to 3% in December year over year, but we're still tracking slightly above budget, which is good. And we did plan for some growth in between 25 and 26. And we have seen that most months. December just happened to be really flat. And our consumer utility tax electric, we are tracking with budget. We're ahead by about $56,000. And then our meals tax, we're really flat with budget. We kind of had a rough month there in December in our collections, but some of that is timing. They'll come in eventually. And then there are some that we have to go after. But we are still ahead of 2025 as we projected. But right now we're pretty flat with our budget. Lodging is kind of the same thing. We're in line with our projections and ahead of 2025. But we're really right there flat with where we thought we would be, which that's okay. That's good. So in our amusement tax, again, we're tracking with budget. We were down slightly in amusement tax for December, but I know we've received one company since then, so it will kind of even out a little bit. But again, we're tracking right there with 25 and 26, about where we thought we'd be. So nothing spectacular there. But we're still doing good. Any questions?
I don't have anybody.
No, just good to hear we're pretty much on track. pretty
Yep,
much.
we're on
That's the
track.
that's the main thing.
Yep, not behind. So moving on. This is our vacancy report. And what we had said we would do is every time we look at quarterly reports, we would run a vacancy report. So you had one last month when we did first quarter, and you've got one this month with second quarter. And this is run through February 10th. And we're up a little bit over last month, about maybe 4 or 5 positions. So not too much, but I know HR is working to fill positions. So, but we're still got 114 that are vacant. And then our last report is our record of votes at our last meeting. So happy to answer any questions before roll call.
Any questions?
No questions.
No. Are you, I do have one question about the vacant positions. Are you, those go out, I mean, I know I see them on social media. Are they sent out to different, like job fairs in the area too?
Yeah, yeah, they are, yeah. Great. Constantly recruiting.
Okay. All right, if there are no questions, then we can do roll call. Dr. Wilder?
Just following up on the preparation for the budget, what is that time period? I can't remember if I've seen a document for that yet.
Haven't sent out the calendar yet. Still finalizing dates, but we should be out shortly.
Okay, all right, thank you. Have you just been so busy with some of the other requests, or so there's been a lot? It's been a lot. I know that. So
It's been a very busy
Okay.
beginning to calendar year 2026.
I did send out an email just stressing to my counterparts, maybe we can kind of hold off a little until we can get our budget done, and then we can do all the extra stuff after that, because there's so much to do. We need to really worry about the budget and get that taken care of. See how schools has needs, city staff has needs, this has needs, construction needs, all these, so many things we have to do locally. I think we need to focus on that. But I'm just a little concerned about that, that we spend so much time with staff doing some of the other projects. I'm just afraid for those real projects that really touch home, Lynchburg, but anyway, okay. I'll follow up for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor? No? Okay, I don't have anything. Thank you so much for all the reports today and the presentations, and we'll see you here in 7 minutes.
Sounds good.
Our next finance meeting is Tuesday, March 24th at 3 p.m. Right? Oh, yeah, that's 24th is also the first flight.
Praise the Lord, everyone. Welcome to our February 24th City Council Work Session. I'll turn you over to Mr. Winder Bender.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of City Council. Today, our work session, we have a couple of items that Council has brought up and want to discuss. Vape and tobacco enforcement. We have our police chief, Ken, here with us that's going to walk us through, talk through some of the ABC laws that we understand. And I think what we've seen, there's certain legislation. And also, I think just from an anecdotal standpoint, we've seen it around town. And I think that each one of you have been very concerned about the intersect, especially with our youth. And so we'll have Ken here. Councilmember Missions wanted to discuss the business license tax. I know that city staff provided certain information ahead of today, and he'll have that opportunity. We have our intergovernmental relations officer, Mercedes Braun, who's here with us. And we just had recent crossover and General Assembly is moving forward. So you see daily bills. I think I've read a headline recently. There was like over 1,000 that didn't make it over and some other things. So it's busy. And so opportunity for us to hear from her. And then under business item briefings, these are opportunities for us, the city staff, to engage you about impending votes, get you the information about some of the matters before you, and then obviously position it for a later date to where you'll have a vote. There are a few roll call items, no closed session. And with that, Mayor, I turn it back to you.
Sir. Chief Edwards.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor.
Good to
and
see you,
members
sir.
of council. Trying to get in this chair here. So recently, council asked for a presentation on vape and tobacco enforcement. And I reached out to all right, here we go. Reached out to Virginia ABC. They were unable to be here with me today, but did provide some information just to further this discussion. So I thought I would start out with the Code of Virginia. It's 18.2, 371.2. In essence, that prohibits the purchase and possession of retail tobacco products and hemp products intended for smoking by a person under 21 years of age, or sale of retail tobacco products and hemp products intended for smoking to persons under 21 years of age. Retail tobacco products, as you see there, is defined as any product containing, made of, or derived from tobacco that contains nicotine, and any electronic smoking device and any substances that may be aerosolized or vaporized by such device. As far as enforcement on this with vape and tobacco under 21, so the establishment, the business can be charged. The seller may be charged as long as the seller knowingly or had reason to believe the buyer was under 21 years of age. And then also the person possessing under the age of 21 can be charged as well. And with that, that can be a Lynchburg officer issuing a summons, or Virginia ABC as well can issue a summons for a violation of this section. The penalties vary depending on court rulings. Primarily, they seem to be civil penalties. According to the subsection of that code section, civil penalty in the amount of $500 for a first violation, civil penalty in the amount of $2,500 for a second or subsequent violation within a 3-year period. And if applicable, upon a second or subsequent violation within a 3-year period, the Department of Taxation may suspend or revoke any approved license, permit, or registration. To further the discussion, again, when we reached out to Virginia Alcoholic Beverage Commission, they conducted 27 undercover tobacco checks at Lynchburg establishments during the past year. So they act as the primary lead for underage buyer checks in the city. And then of those 27 checks, 6 of those came in as complaints against the business. In total, 8 individuals, all sellers, were charged under that code section. Typically from LPD response, when we get a complaint, we can charge. We have enough to charge on the violation, but we do Virginia ABC. I don't have a lot of really good numbers on this, and because it's based on our nature code, we don't have a designated nature code for vape or underage tobacco as far as a call for
Seems to be the same sort of thing. I've heard from my constituents that they're concerned about the schools in Ward 3. So I'm concerned about the schools in Ward 3. And my question is, have you had any prosecutions that have resulted in convictions that took place on school grounds?
We checked with the Commonwealth Attorney's Office, and they were not aware of any cases of unlawful sales or distribution as far as the possession. We did look, and there were approximately 100 calls for service within the last 5 years that we were able to find of underage vape possession at both of the high schools, EC Glass and Heritage High Schools, and that we were able to actually find those calls for service. And again, it appears that most, if not all of those, were administratively handled by the schools, along with the school resource officer would have destroyed the vape. As far as with suspected marijuana, the school resource officers will test it because that will increase the disciplinary action by the schools. But for prosecution, we have to be able to verify that it is marijuana. The lab will not test on simple possession marijuana cases. They've gotten so overwhelmed with not just marijuana cases, but other cases in general. They'll only test marijuana if it rises to the level of a possession with intent to distribute amount, which is not in this case.
Okay. What I'm hearing is that it's a pretty common occurrence for our school students who don't vape, don't smoke, don't do any of these things to walk into a bathroom and, of course, smell the residue, which we all smell, but also to almost like hotboxing in a car. Ms. Reed, it's not willingly that they're doing this. They're going to use the restroom. They've got to walk into a room where secondhand marijuana smell might be impacting them and their health. So we don't want marijuana vape free zones, which it sounds like it might be what's going on with the school since there's been no prosecution. I would really love to see some signal sent to those who are doing this that you can't get away with this at school. And however we need to do that, prosecution here and there, just like radar sitting on the side of the road can have a real deterrent effect. I think a prosecution of a few students for doing that might clear the air up for those students who are there to learn. So I appreciate all your efforts as always, and I thank you for them. Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Ms. Reed, Dr. Wild.
Just quickly, I know a lot of the schools have like those vape detectors now. Are they effective? Do you know? Or
I can't speak to the
Okay,
vape detector.
yeah.
The
I
schools
know,
have those or not.
yeah, I know. I think someone said kids were messing with them, but I did hear that they do have like vape detectors and can sense those things. But I'm not sure how those things work. But it's probably more so a question for the school system. All right, thank you, appreciate it.
Ms. Reed.
Thank you. We had the director for Horizon here at our last work session, and I talked to her about just educating on the effects of, secondhand marijuana smoke. And I think this is another thing we have to work with all of our departments on is however we can get more information out on the negative effects of all these drugs, vaping, marijuana, whatever, because, our kids are using it, they're being exposed to it. And I know that the children think that they're invincible and it's not hurting them, but we know that the research shows that vaping is extremely detrimental to anybody that's using it, but certainly young developing people. And I think maybe the police department can help in working on educational material that we could all partner with in the community in educating family members, kids. We can work with the schools on getting information out and having presentations on the harmful impacts of all these drugs, because it is going to have long-term damage, damaging effects to the kids. So I don't know, maybe that's something we talk about, some type of campaign we can all participate in, helping get that information out. Because yes, I agree with consequence for sure, bringing things into the school. But if we can get more information out younger, maybe some of them will not make the choice, that'd be great too. So, but thank you for the information.
Thank you.
Chief, what about Kratom,
Sir?
Kratom, Kratom, Kratom. You can walk right into the vape shops, pick it up off the counter, and pay for it. It's not regulated.
Right.
Youth can buy it, and this report say it has the effect of injectable heroin and prescription opioids. And the side effects is liver damage, high blood pressure, depression, trouble breathing, tremors, seizures, and weight loss. And children can walk right into the vape shops and buy this, right off the counter. Is there something we can do about that?
Well, it seems like every time there's a code section that pertains to a particular, they can change that ingredient just a little bit, change the substance just a little bit, just enough to where it doesn't fall under that statute. But again, I think the education piece and then enforcement piece with the police department working in cooperation with Virginia ABC and other partners, we can continue to battle that. But yes, it's a challenge.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Mr. Mitchell.
Appreciate the presentation, Chief. I think this might be for Kent, Mr. White. One of the things that I've become aware of is that a lot of the signage and the lights on a lot of these places that sell this stuff does not comply with our current zoning code. So that stuff obviously is attractive to probably teenagers and younger folks when they see that. So I don't know what we can do to kind of start cracking down on that, maybe.
Yes, sir.
Looking at that from an enforcement
We
perspective.
try to proactively go out and we do sweeps of our major corridors in terms of signage.
Sure.
I'll do a check-in on that, but we can tell you what the results were from our last sweep. We have that
That'd be
data,
great.
and
And I
we'll
think
just provide that in the memo if that's okay.
Sure, and it's tough, I know, because you guys work during the day, and this stuff is at night is when it's lit up.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I guess we do citizen complaints. I guess is that something that would make it more proactive if
Yes, sir.
we got citizens to complain to zoning about it?
That's exactly. It's zoning, and we take those on a complaint basis. And again, as our resources allow, we try to do that proactively. But of course, small but mighty team,
Sure.
two zoning officials for
Absolutely,
the entire
yeah.
city. So.
Totally understand, but that would be something I think that could also kind of help a little bit, because if we're not trying to entice these kids with the stuff that makes it look like an arcade or something,
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Anyone else for the chief?
No, sir. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Item number 2, council admissions, business license tax.
Do we have a staff presentation on this, or is it just me? Is that what we're?
You would raise the topic, we gave you the information yesterday, we're interested in what you wanted to discuss.
So if that's the case, then that makes it even easier. The information that you guys provided yesterday, let me pull it back up. The net, hold on, let me find the email. What I'm looking for is the net difference between the two thresholds that were provided.
Greg is bringing around a copy.
I know I saw it. It was a lot less than I was expecting it to be. Like the net difference or the net impact. Perfect. Thank you. So correct me if I'm wrong here, but what I'm seeing here is the total at the end, is that the total revenue to the city? Is that what I'm reading, or am I reading that wrong?
You got it. That's correct. That's not the total revenue. It would be the total revenue loss if we were to expand the exemption to the level in the first column.
Well, when I look at that, at a total revenue loss of $87,142 to expand that exemption to $200,000, which would double it, right?
The exemption currently is 150,000.
Is it a 150 right now? Okay. So then would increase it 50,000. I kind of feel like that's a no-brainer, you know, for us to approach at a minimum. I mean, it'd be great to get to the 200, but if we got to settle at 175, I would be good with that. I think this is something that is really good for us to consider right now. Obviously, last time we did this, the value of the dollar was a little higher. So thinking of our business owners and specifically when you're looking at this, you've got, you know, a lot of entrepreneurs, people that are doing the sole member LLC thing that are going to be impacted positively by this and saying, hey, you know, we recognize that the cost of living has increased. And with that, we can increase that threshold a little bit. So I would love to see something in our next meeting to look at adopting something for July 1 for the fiscal year, for the new fiscal year, to either raise that to 175 or 200. 200 would be ideal, but 175, when I look at just revenue loss of 19,000 to get to 175, we should be doing that. There's no reason we're not doing that. I think we can also figure out how to get to that 200,000. So that's where I'm at. But appreciate the information.
Dr. Wilder?
Yeah, I know we did discuss it in the finance committee, and I mentioned, since we're in the budget session, talk about maybe looking at that during the budget process, something like that. That's what we talked about in finance. The finance chair wanted to mention anything.
Yeah, we voted at our finance meeting to take this up during, when we start doing the budget discussion. So that's something we want to work into our budget discussion.
We can't do it in the next meeting. I don't see any reason why. When we look at what we've seen recently with the path, council members requested an item on roll call. Like, two examples would be the resolution on redistricting and then the resolution that we had come before us, I think with the supporting federal law enforcement. And then we've
Because
seen
those didn't have anything to
specific-
do with our current
I have the
fiscal
floor.
year.
Mr. Mayor, I've got the floor. Those items have moved to the work session, then they've moved to the meeting. I don't know why we can't, I don't know why we got to delay this. We should be putting our taxpayers first. We should be putting our small business owners first. This just makes sense. I don't know why it wouldn't advance. That's the process that we have before us. That's the way the rules and procedures are lined out.
Mayor Taylor?
Yes, ma'am.
Because it is a finance issue and the finance committee voted to move it to the discussion for the budget, which is when we make any type of decision that affects the fiscal year. We don't do that until we discuss the upcoming budget. So if you want to propose that, which no one here is saying we don't agree with having a discussion about our business owners, but you do that when we're going into the new fiscal year, not in the middle of the current fiscal year. So that's what we do. That's what we'll do.
I don't think we did that last time. Last time we raised the exemption. That was independent of the budget process.
Well, the finance committee voted to discuss this when we start talking about the budget. So that's what
Well,
was
I mean,
voted on.
I don't think there's any reason to delay putting our taxpayers first. That's all I've got to say about it. My expectation as a council member is that when I put an agenda item forward, that it's carried out according to our rules of procedure. It's that simple.
And finance committee voted to hold it off until budget season. That's the finance committee. Dr. Wilder?
Yeah. And it's also, when it comes time for the budget, doesn't that start July 1st anyway?
Mhm.
I mean, I don't see it.
That's right.
I don't see the difference. That's when it starts anyway, is July 1st. Again, considering all the citizens and all the requests and all the things, and it's also looking at everything that the city needs to do as far as finances and expenses are concerned, that will take effect July 1st.
Yeah, the date would start the same. So we would, if we want
I
to
mean-
consider it, we would vote on it for the July 1st school year start date anyway. So there's no difference.
Okay, thank you. Item number 3, legislative update, Ms. Mechie.
These are copies of your legislative package. Can I just pass one down? Is that okay? Thank you. Good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of City Council. Thanks for having me. Last week, the General Assembly reached crossover, and just for the fun of it and the people watching at home, this is when the bills come into their respective house. They make it out of committee and get a vote, then they get to cross over to the other house, the other chamber, for review and vote before it gets to the governor to either veto or sign into law. There were 496 bills that crossed from the Senate to the House and 841 bills that crossed from the House to the Senate. The General Assembly is scheduled to adjourn Sine Die on March 14th with an opportunity to reconvene on April 22nd. For your summary, I've narrowed this down to areas of concern that are outlined in your package. These are issues that would have an impact potentially here for our citizens in Lynchburg, and issues that the council has not yet taken action on. The Virginia Literacy Act is underway. The Virginia Department of Education will focus on K through 8 instruction and expand guidance based on some research. This will be a multi-year rollout. The state is looking to expand Head Start programs and contemplate eligibility and curriculum. This is sort of geared towards the pre-K and transitional kindergarten that we talked about, and kind of help close those gaps. School construction sales tax opportunity for localities. This is the opportunity to implement a 1% sales tax to put towards school construction. And that'll be based off the locality's interest in doing so. The General Assembly is requiring the Department of Education to create a new funding formula that is going to be focused on early child care and education. Curriculum changes that require instruction on climate change that will have to be vetted by a scientist prior to. So all of these impacts will affect curriculums, potentially the budget, because it'll gear towards training and professional development for our teachers and instructors. Minimum wage is set to increase to $15 an hour by 2028. I don't think this is actually it's definitely not going to impact anybody in our workforce, but it potentially could impact hourly rate teachers who are at not just teachers, but school employees that operate at an hourly rate. I don't think it will, but I just want to make you guys aware of that. Workforce development. The General Assembly is looking towards the Department of Workforce Development and Advancement as a primary state and federal agency. This will ensure that apprenticeship expectations and standards exceed those federal standards. They're adding major associate's degrees. This will be for young adults that are still in high school, and they'll work alongside community colleges as well as the public college system, and all operate under data-driven successes. They're looking a lot towards more CTE programs for grades 6 through 12. They have been tabled to next session, but I think we still keep our eyes out, and anything that you guys have in mind for the next General Assembly session, we're prepared in that way. The state correctional facilities will need to provide, the aim is to provide technical training and education. That could be a potential strain if we're kind of coming into the same pot of our educators for reading and development. So it's a great thing, but it just be concerned maybe that coming from the same area. The cannabis retail market can have major impacts on everything from zoning to enforcement and safety and even budgetary. While it's currently legal to possess marijuana, the General Assembly is attempting to lower sentences and offenses. So this will send people back into our workforce. Currently, the General Assembly is working on regulating the retail sales market and licensing structure for producers. So anybody from growers to marijuana paraphernalia producers and the retail market. So there'll be some very restricted policies and licensing structures. They're looking towards how they're going to distribute the taxation and revenue of this. The enforcement authority. There will be an opportunity for local governments to opt out of the retail through local ordinance. However, that means you will not get the funding that would be produced by it. So revenue from cannabis sales, the state is looking to slate this towards public health initiatives, community reinvestment programs, and substance abuse programs. Public safety is the center of focus for this session. I'll call it the 3 branches of public safety. So obviously police, fire, and EMS. They're focused on recruitment and retention, support for training and mental health, and workforce stabilization. They're looking at the fire response efforts, co-response strategies, and enhancement of the response models. They're looking at the effectiveness of volunteer versus career. I'm going to use that term, career fire departments, and maybe combining the two. So this could potentially have an effect on our neighboring localities. I'm super excited about this one. It's TDOs. I mean, we've talked about this for years, but they're actually considering use of retired officers and alternate forms of transportation. So that is a very good step in the right direction, in my humble opinion. It is just my humble opinion. Let me just say that. Unmanned aircraft. We talked about this a little bit in the finance committee. I know I didn't talk about it. The police chief talked about it with you. You already can use it with a warrant, but they're looking to enhance that and make it more accessible for officers to use that unmanned aircraft. Mental health awareness, big focus here. to be aware, all of this could potentially be doled out as unfunded mandates. So just being diligent in consideration of state and federal budgets and what that impact could potentially have on the city. Voter security, considerations for more cross comparison with DMV records, periodic reviews of voter registration, expanding the absentee ballot date. I think they're looking at maybe 3 days post the polls closing, allowing ranked choice voting. And then there's some conversation surrounding consequences for attempted bribery of votes, trying to question how much you can give to encourage people to vote, punishments for certain types of influence, and the use of AI and synthetic media and campaign materials. There'll be a very dominant required disclosure, and the consequences seem to be pretty severe at this point. They're also looking to enhance privacy for candidates and elected officials, that you don't have to use your personal information out there, and can help protect you guys a little bit better. Delegate Walker did put forward a bill to invest in cryptocurrencies and gold. The bill did not make it out of committee. It is too risky at this time. It's unresearched, and they don't want to risk taxpayer dollars at this point. And they're going to do more research, though. They like the idea, just wanted to make sure it's vetted well. We're watching final budget allocations impacting safety and education. We're watching the cannabis retail implementation and looking at those timelines and opt-out windows, so you can make decisions. Better, that's not the right word, but you know what I'm saying? You can make decisions based off of that information. Workforce development, public safety, and other grant funding that would enhance and supplement the city budget, efforts for public safety, fire, EMS, police, and transportation funding is still largely in support of the high growth and high populated areas. However, they are looking at some new and revived efforts to close the gaps around rural connectivity. This will also include transit systems that are experiencing some post-pandemic stress on ridership. Lastly, quick budget update. The budget did drop on Sunday, February 22nd. They will take action on February 26th, so we'll know more information. It's very in sync with Governor Youngkin's last budget proposal. The House and Senate is focusing on strengthening strategic investments through the Commonwealth. Proposed teacher staff bonuses and salary increases for both FY27 and 28. Direct tax rebates to citizens. We saw this in previous years. Special education support. Potential one-time flexible support for schools without unfunded mandates. So there's like a little cushion for their budget, some breathing room. Obviously, if Lynchburg chooses to allow marijuana stores, increases to income for Lynchburg. Providing transportation projects. Like I said, again, they're going towards bigger areas, but doesn't mean we're not in the race. And then major public safety training and support there. So I'll happily answer as many specific questions as I can. And then, of course, get back to you. But like Mr. Benda said, this was busy. There was a lot of stuff going on. So wanted to keep it at this level, but happy to answer anything you have.
Mr. Deemer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for your work doing this. And it is better if we have more information. You shouldn't apologize about that at all. It's always better when we have more information to make our decision. It doesn't mean we'll make a better decision, but at least more informed. And you do a lot to help us with that, and I appreciate it. Quick question on the retail sales of marijuana. Did they come up with any conclusion, or what's the status on the bills to allow localities to tax retail sales on marijuana?
So let me, just as a quick example, there are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, at least 10 bills that are at like a high level, and these are from the Senate and the House. I'll happily read them out loud so that you have them if you want to research. But I mean, I don't even know, they're looking even at marijuana field tests, and they're going to work on that a little bit next session. I know Councilwoman Reed, you've spoken about that in the past. You guys previously mentioned in a presentation about that secondhand smoke. There's a lot more, I think, to it. And I believe that I couldn't even tell you, to be honest, but I will find out and I will stay on top of it so that you have that information. But I wouldn't even know where to begin to know. I know what they're trying to put it towards, but as far as like rates, I have no idea. But I'll find out.
Sounds pretty confusing. 6 bills is a lot to try to track on for sure.
Those are just the 6 I wrote down. I'm just kidding.
And there may be more, and there may be changes to those. So
yes, sir.
Thank you for your work.
Yeah, thank you very much. All right. Thanks for having me.
Anyone else?
Oh.
Just thank you for your hard work. This is a lot for you to do and handle on top of your all of your other things you do on a daily basis. So thank you for keeping on top of it and keeping us informed and letting us have a voice to reflect and represent when we get to go up to Richmond and feel like we have a liaison to do that, because it is nice to be able to let our citizens know that we are fighting for the issues here up there.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Did they make any mention of secondhand marijuana smoke with children in vehicles and in their homes? Did they make any mention of that?
They did, sort of. They have, let me pull, I have it right here. I knew you would ask me. They have, SB 542 focuses on the consumption and surrounding underage kids. So there's that one. The marijuana field test area, so being surrounded by that secondhand smoke, is postponed till next session. They're doing a lot of, where is it? I know where it is. Restricting and strengthening laws against illegal sales is all part of that as well in SB 543. So there's across all the bills, similar to what with the vice mayor, across all of the bills, there's little bits, but there's not anything direct that's about secondhand marijuana smoke.
Mr. Commissioner.
So we get anywhere on the human services study on the funding?
Yes, hold on. I've got that. What they've done with human services, so they want to do studies with this. What we ran into was the way that the bill was worded, because Delegate Walker wanted to put that forward. The way the bill was worded interfered with federal funding. So basically it was like me saying, hey, we want to ask for all of this, and yet also get the federal government funding and
Sure.
need to do a little bit more dedicated research to that. So something please to keep in mind, but there's nothing in there that's headed towards the direction that we have discussed.
So do you think they're going to get a study or anything on that? Do you know?
I don't have any word about that now. I will
Okay.
go deeper and find out.
Okay.
I think they would. They liked what we were talking about. And like I said, Delegate Walker was eager to do this. There were other organizations that reached out to me and talked about this. So it seemed very popular.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Beamer.
Having spent 10 years in the General Assembly working as a legislative
You
aide,
never told me that. I'm
I
totally
did.
kidding.
I can tell you that when they pass it by to the next year,
Yeah.
it's dead. That's basically what it is. That helps you. And we're all praying for sine die. And I know you'll probably appreciate it when it's done too. So.
Oh, yeah.
Is there anyone else? Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Metchie. Our next item, business item briefing. Garfield Avenue conditional use permit, Ms. Rachel.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council. The purpose of this conditional use permit petition is to allow 4 modular classrooms on the Virginia University of Lynchburg campus. Planning Commission recommended approval of this item at their meeting on January 28th, and this will return for City Council public hearing on March 10th. So the subject property consists of about 6 acres total at 2057 Garfield Avenue. Our future land use map recommends institutional uses for this property. These are our religious, educational, and other nonprofit entities in the city. The subject property was annexed into the city in 1926, and the existing R3 medium-density residential zoning was established in 1978. In this district, colleges and universities are permitted upon approval of a CUP from council. The university originally intended these modular classrooms to be temporary, which is permitted by our zoning ordinance without the approval of a CUP. However, the petitioner has decided that they would like for these classrooms to remain permanently. So that is why they're going through this conditional use permit process. In summary, the modular classrooms are currently in place and, according to the petitioner, did not increase student enrollment. Therefore, impact on the surrounding area should be limited. Again, Planning Commission recommended approval, and this will return to you on March 10th.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Thank you all.
Dr. Wild?
Yeah, I have a tour. Those are the ones that are already currently there, correct?
Yes, those four
Yes,
buildings
yeah.
that are there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have toured them some time ago when they were, I guess, installed, I guess, whatever, to do additional classrooms as well as they do some remote learning there as well, I believe.
They do, yes.
Yeah, so it's good for them to do some expansion there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you, Ms. Rachel.
Thank you.
Item number 5. fiscal agent change to LYH 2050 committee. Mr. Delaney.
Okay, good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council. In 2024, you all established the city's official local committee to help celebrate our nation's 250th anniversary, also known as the semi-quincentennial. That local committee uses the name LYH 250 to parallel the state commission's name VA 250. In the original resolution, the Southern Memorial Association was named as the fiscal agent for the LYH 250. The Southern Memorial Association, you probably know, is the local nonprofit that helps to manage Old City Cemetery. That organization is no longer able to serve as fiscal agent for LYH 250 and has therefore requested that the Lynchburg Historical Foundation be named in its place as the financial pass-through, so to speak, for the committee. The Lynchburg Historical Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit established here in Lynchburg in 1972. And both its board and staff have endorsed this request to be named the new fiscal agent. We believe this is a fairly lateral move between two very similar organizations that should not interrupt the work of the committee this year. And I believe the plan is for this to come back to you in 2 weeks, March 10th, for a formal vote. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
So based on the, I'm sorry.
Ms. Timmer?
Go ahead, sorry.
You know my look. I hadn't even raised my hand yet. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Fully supportive. We've talked about 250th.
It's a big year.
It's a big year, and I'm very hopeful. And yeah, thank you for your presentation. Appreciate it.
Mr. Deemer?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, love history, as you know, and very excited to celebrate this major event for our country, for our state, and for our city. So anything we can do to help, please don't hesitate to let us know how we can make this memorable. I remember some previous events. I don't want to give away my age, but we like to celebrate this sort of thing in Lynchburg, and I'm looking forward to doing it.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyone else? Ms. Reed?
I just want to say I'm supportive too. And I think it's going to be great and whatever you need. I think it's going to be a really exciting time, obviously, for the whole country, but I'm excited to see what the city does. So thank you for your work on this.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Dr. Wilder?
Thank you again for this information. Do we have a tentative list of events planned locally in Lynchburg?
Yes.
Yeah, Fort's working on some things as well.
Yeah, the committee has got a roster of things that are happening this year. And at the moment, they're developing a web page where all these will be posted. We have a meeting in a couple of weeks. The committee will meet, and I'll make sure that I get a list from them and I can pass it on to you all so you'll have it. But they do have kind of a master list of all the things happening.
Okay. I think Popular Force had a copy of the Declaration of Independence, I believe.
That's right. It is on display right now, an original engraving of the Declaration.
Which is just amazing. I think one of the board members, I'm on the board there, one of the board members had one. I'm like, how you just happen to have a copy of that?
A lot of money.
That's
a lot of money.
That was my thinking. Anyway, thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Ms. Reed?
Will there be a list of, or maybe you can help with that together or someone can, of specific children's types of events that might be available for the time?
Yeah, I believe those are included in
Those
the
are
list
on the-
that they have.
okay, great.
And so a lot of things are family friendly. The Bateau Festival this June, that's going to be their big signature event for the year. And that's very family friendly. It's a great thing to bring the whole family to see the launch of the Bateau that morning.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Off the record, how many 1976 quarters do you have?
1976?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I'll ask our curator. I know we have a lot of bicentennial stuff because the city's bicentennial commission deposited all of its papers and work at the museum when they were finished. So I'll find out. That's a great question.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Delaney. Item number 6, Boards and Commissions Quarterly Report. Ms. Alicia.
Okay, this is your first quarter of the 2026. This does not encompass any term expirations. This is just your anything that's open vacancies. So you will see very light lift with just 3 boards that we'll be going over. The first one, however, you'll need a full complement. So not quite as light as you might be thinking. This is the Building Code Appeals Board. They meet as needed and have not met in quite some time. But talking with staff, they would like to get at least a board together so that they can do some education if something were to come up. This board would hear appeals related to the application of the Building Code and Fire Prevention Code, and members play a critical role in upholding safety standards while balancing the concerns of property owners, developers, and contractors. Members can serve up to 3 consecutive 4-year terms, and there are specific technical requirements that are needed on this board. So we're looking for licensed architects, and licensed engineers, licensed insurance professionals, somebody in the professional building trades, an experienced property manager. They are looking also for citizens at large. So if you don't have any of these technical backgrounds, but this sounds interesting to you, need not worry, you can still apply. Next is the Lynchburg Redevelopment Housing Authority. This group meets monthly, sometimes bi-monthly. They manage housing assistant programs and leads urban renewal and housing rehab efforts in specific neighborhoods. Members can serve up to 3 consecutive 4-year terms. And they also have 1 vacancy. This is for somebody who is directly assisted by the authority. So they are looking for a consumer advocate for the specific role. Next is the Planning Commission. They meet the 2nd and 4th Wednesdays of each month here at City Hall. They have the ability to, our members would need to have the ability to balance various needs of the city, specifically long-term decisions and understanding how that affects in the short term. Technical backgrounds are needed for these, or maybe not needed, but would like to have. So looking again for architects, engineers, and somebody in environmental sciences. You do have 1 vacancy here. We do have applications that are currently in the queue. So if you have already applied, then we've got you covered there. As you can see, we do have some members who are holding over in those positions. So if we have tons of great applicants that you all like, you'd be able to do something there with that. Next steps, you all are scheduled for a closed session the end of March, and we'll be collecting applications a week before that through March 16th. The QR code there gets you to our application, and as always, my contact info is in the bottom right-hand corner. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you. Roll call.
Doing it in order.
Ms. Reed?
Hi.
Mr. Ferrari is not here.
That's right. He is not here. So I think one thing that Dr. Wilder said yesterday really spoke to me in our meeting, which is we have so much going on in the city that we need to be thinking about, aside from a lot of the things that we've been talking about recently. You know, we have sad, tragic things that have been happening recently. We've had some devastating murders, losses of life that are tragic. And we do need to remember those things as a council. It's not to say that the things that we have been discussing haven't also been important, but we need to remember that we are the Lynchburg City Council, and that we need to be focusing on our city and our citizens and the things happening right here in our city. And we have a lot of needs, and we have children in our city who need support. Our schools need our support. We have a lot of senior citizens who are on fixed incomes who need our support. Our neighbors need our help, and we just need to remember to what we're here to do. And it's a lot of things. We have a lot of needs and a lot of citizens that are leaning on us to do a whole array of things and represent them in multiple ways. And so I appreciated that comment and that reminder yesterday, because sometimes we get caught up on things, and people that are experiencing really significant challenges can watch us sit up here, and it can be hurtful because they're leaning on us to solve significant problems in the city that need our support. And we need to remember that. So we need to refocus what we're doing here And like I said, it's not that what we have been talking about is not important, because things that happen at the state level do have impact on us. And we do need to pay attention to that. But we also have to remember that we are representing 80,000 people right here, and the immediate needs of our citizens are right here. So I just wanted to say that I heard that, and I'm reminded of that. And I do care about each and every one of our citizens. So thank you.
Do you have other items? You can go do that first. Those other items you have. I'll go afterwards.
Other items?
What do you hate? Yeah, the published items. That's what I'm saying. Go to those.
Okay. Mr. Ferrari, item? Yeah.
Number 2 is missions.
Missions. Item number 7, Mr. Ferrari, removing attorney-client privileges from an email correspondence. So we're not doing that.
Right.
Number 8, Councilman Missions, performance review of the city manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just think that we need to get these done. This is something that we are long overdue on, is getting these performance evaluations done.
Yes.
I will have a response in writing to you by the end of the evening, Mr. City Manager, on your response. And I think we need to move forward with this.
We
can't
will.
be delaying it anymore. The other piece of information, we can make note of this. I spoke with Lynchburg Fire Deputy Chief of Operations Marcus Bush, who currently has a active equal employment opportunity charge of discrimination against the city of Lynchburg. He has not received the link to participate in the Raftellus survey. I think that the survey is wholly incomplete without his response, and anybody else that's currently an active employee of the fire department. They should all be getting the links for that survey. That's all I got.
Thank you. Vice Mayor, number 9, Vice Mayor Deemer, VMI resolution support.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I learned recently that we have a number of VMI grads and alumni in the city of Lynchburg, and they're pretty prominent citizens. They're leaders in their areas and communities. And if you're following the General Assembly, as a lot of us are, and we got a great report from Ms. Mechie today, things do impact us. You're absolutely right. And this is one of those things. So I have shared a tentative draft of a resolution supporting VMI. I didn't graduate from there, but I have a great appreciation for all the colleges and universities we have in Virginia. We have quite a diverse offerings for students of the Commonwealth, and we attract a lot of people to come to Virginia because of those great schools. So I do think that we need to support them, and I'm going to push for that resolution, continue to push it forward. I think it's a good idea. I think it supports our folks here in Virginia and specifically in Lynchburg who are VMI grads. And I am happy to report that some of the more egregious language was toned down a little bit. It's a little bit harsh and vindictive. Attempts to control the school, move control of the school, change the board. A lot of things were pushed initially. Some of that has fallen by the wayside, like a lot of legislation at this point, which is good. But I hope they kind of leave VMI alone, let them do what they do so well. And they have a lot of integrity and a lot of kids with character come out of that school. And I've been listening online to the students speaking about what's going on in Richmond, and they're pretty vocal. So I encourage people to listen to that. And I encourage my counselors to listen to those kids. They have a pretty strong message about their school and their belief in that their school is a good school. And I tend to agree, and that's why I'm doing this. So thank y'all for letting me talk about it in roll call.
Thank you.
Oh, do you have something you want?
I have a number of items.
forthcoming, but not today. I'll save it for the next meeting. Thank you.
Dr. Wilder.
Well, thank you again. Thank you to our city staff for all of your work. We appreciate all the work you do for our city, our citizens. We did lose a great civil rights leader, Reverend Jesse Jackson. They did have a program last night at Diamond Hill Baptist Church. So thank you. Get to see a lot of the city staff was there. A manager, police chief, several other city members were there. So thank you for that, recognizing him for his leadership over the past 50 plus years and working on civil rights. So it was a great loss to our country. So we continue to pray for his family. And a great loss. But thank you for, we want to let all our citizens know you all are prominent citizens, citizens of Lynchburg. Every last one of you, we appreciate you for all you work you do to make our city better, great. I guess reiterate what Councilmember Reed said. We just want to make sure, from my point of view, I want to focus on our citizens. There's so many national issues, so many state issues. So we can get so bogged down in the weeds and so many things. We can all debate about so many things. We have different views and opinions on so many things. But I really want to get back to Lynchburg and really focus on those issues. I know everything affects Lynchburg, but again, we have so many needs right here at home. I talked earlier about the young man, the 6-year-old child who got killed in his home. I talked about the young man 2 blocks from here that I used to work with, got shot 2 times in the head. I hate to talk about that, but anyway, but it's horrible tragedy. His family continue to suffer from that loss, and still those murders have not been solved yet. So we have a lot of issues that we need to do here at home. The school system has so many great needs between personal issues and needs that staff need and school innovation needs. There's so many issues we can talk about. So I just want to make sure that we as a council, we're focusing on the issues that really affect our day-to-day living right here in Lynchburg, and not about political bickering and other things of that nature just going on in the state. State's going to do what they're going to do. National going to do what they want to do. Let's really focus on the citizens of Lynchburg and be independent and work on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Timmer?
I already said that I'll bring the items to the next meeting, but
Okay.
thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes. Mayor's remark. Government Communication Day. Thank you. I just want to take time, a quick moment to recognize Government Communicators Day and give a big thanks to all our communication and public engagement team. You all are the voice that keep Lynchburg informed, connected, and engaged every single day, often behind the scenes and always with heart. We truly appreciate the work you do, and I am proud of the way you help tell Lynchburg's story. Thank you. Okay. Meeting adjourned.